Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Wishing you a very happy and healthy start to your Tuesday morning over here from June 2nd of very bright and sunny Helsinki, Finland. Once again, been bright and sunny since like 1:30 a.m. So the day continues to get shorter. Anyways, or longer, I guess. Yeah, longer. Well, shorter for me because I want it more dark. Anyways, plenty to talk about today as Bitcoin heads back into the 5 digits. As we've been saying, Bitcoin likely bullish in this region right here and taking that next leg up. Looking so far so good, but now what's next to come as far as the lower term timeframes, the medium term timeframes, and the high and the macro term timeframes, as that next area has been actually tapped into at 10,500-ish region. That's going to offer up a lot of interesting things, I think, for this next week or two. And realistically, Bitcoin seems to be setting up here for one of those higher term time frame plays we've been speaking about. Anyways, on top of that, I do want to say I will probably not be on Twitch today. I might be on Twitch today, but probably not. Need to run a few errands and need to actually get a finished phone number, which I am really much looking forward to right now. On top of that, I do want to say that I will be on my gaming channel later. For anyone who happens to give a fuck, as always, please not feel obligated to go and support that channel because I understand that most people aren't interested in such things. But if you are, then you're more than welcome, because I could use more friends over there, and it's the one channel where I actually do want people to subscribe to. It's at Total Krown here on YouTube, but I'll leave a link to the channel in the comment section below. I'll pin it up there. Anyways, looking at the Krown Chain application, we do see that the open interest has shot up quite a bit from yesterday to today. Most importantly, we now do see a breakage of the medium and kind of higher term time frame range as well at 9,800, which is accompanied by about a jump of about 200 million in open interest. So that number is going to be significant going forwards here because it gives us a little bit of a baseline to measure things off, although still very, 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 very new overall. So I wouldn't necessarily draw like significant conclusions from this just yet on how to interpret the open interest with regards to price action. But so far so good. Open interest increasing alongside Bitcoin taking out the next major level at 9,800-ish region, which spun off that next $700 move to 10,500. So what does that essentially mean going forwards here? It means that we can now start to document it a little bit. On top of that, we do see that the Bitcoin dominance is actually literally about the same, still hanging around that 65.5% marker. But we do have something different over here with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index ticking into the greedy zone for the first time. Technically speaking, greedy zone, it's 56, really still more or less neutral, but technically in the greedy zone for the first time in like months, really 2-3 months, I believe. So overall, the market is starting to get a little more excited, as it probably should be as Bitcoin approaches these more interesting levels. So with all of that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest of the happiest. Let's go look at some actual price action charts right here. Bitcoin on the daily, and let's just kind of follow from yesterday's analysis. So yesterday I did say that if Bitcoin closed a 12-hour dildo above that 9850-ish region, or even just took out the last high of this consolidation at 9950-ish region, I would look for extension to 10,500. And well, we got that. I mean, 10,429, high on the day thus far. Bitcoin has come back down and already kind of retested the breakout trend line, or proverbial trend line, because I don't have it in here right now. Let me plot it out right there. There indeed it is. You can kind of consider that already come back down. So I do look at this breakout as legitimate as long as we are above the breakout area, which is actually a little more accurately like this, which we can put in a nice little blue box of now peace and prosperity to the downside towards. So we'll do something like this right here. Protecting against that 9,900-ish region to the downside, a little bit conservative here, but that's just the way that I roll, typically speaking. Maybe not politically, but don't really have any political affiliations. Before someone says, "What? You're not conservative? Fuck you, Krown," or like on the other side, I don't know, how does the other side even sound?
Okay, so it sounds like you're not very progressive, Krown, so I think I'm gonna be unfollowing and also reporting you for fuck you. It's like, all right, okay, well, whatever. Anyways, internet's great. The world is falling to pieces. No, it's not. It's just the media telling you all this bullshit. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Bitcoin price action. So by resolving that to the upside, we have resolved the symmetrical triangle to the upside, which did initiate that next measure move, actually all the way up to about 11,000 bucks. So while Bitcoin is taking a quick breather from that 10.5 tick that we saw earlier this morning, I do believe that Bitcoin is still bullish and still likely to head up to that $11,000 target and probably beyond, to be fair, as long as we remain on a 12-hour closing basis above this pivot point, which is now at about 9,900. So I can say that as long as Bitcoin's above 9,900, I am short-term, medium-term, and long-term bullish on Bitcoin. Still looking at 11,500 for the macro area to really get excited for the full-on like moon effect. But for right now, looking good, especially on these time frames right here. Daily Stokes still headed upwards and onwards. Going to be meeting this trend line as well, but I don't think that it's going to stop it, to be honest with you. I do think that it's going to be remaining to the upside because we are seeing more and more divergence between all major moving averages, and once again, all lower periods are trading above higher periods as a 10 simple gains divergence away from the yellow 21 right here, and Golden Cross still strengthening. As we've been saying, this is suggesting that the Boston algos are on the buy side. We saw this right in over here occur about a month ago in early May, and then really confirmed on this secondary higher low right here a little bit later in the same month. So to me, this is this is good. This is constructive. This is likely to beget some more continuation. Momentum also is looking more or less fine here, and also volume increasing as price action increases as well. So it's volume increasing while open interest increases, while price action increases. Rally looks real. Looking at daily RSI, we are more or less consolidating this region, but consolidating alongside the bullish control zone, typically going to lead towards a longer term stint within the bullish control zone. So I do look at that as good overall as well. And I'm curious what historic volatility percentile is looking like here. Yes, okay, so this was very interesting. I think it's probably going to be better shown on the 12-hour because that's I think that was maybe a little bit more orderly. Yes, indeed it was. But overall, they should be more or less the same. And realistically, what do we see here? We do see that we're still kind of living within the confines of the greater contraction phase. So I believe that speaks to the macro here, making relation between the daily and mostly like the weekly actually. You'll need to use a lower term time frame to actually get that, funnily enough. But still looking at an apex coming in around actually like September, which would suggest a resolution point somewhere right around here in like late June, middle of July, something like that is when it becomes relatively likely to break, or just a sustained move above this trend line right here would probably do it for me. But seeing as the moving average on this continues to remain with a downward slope, even after that spike to the upside, I would say that this is still within the context of a macro consolidation. Macro again still speaks to the 11,500 area region to the upside. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, I do want to describe contingencies with this. So like I said, as long as Bitcoin's above 9,900, especially on a 12-hour closure, I do think that this is still, bullish on basically all time frames. But if we do lose 9,900 or even 10,000 on a 4-hour delta closure, although I'd rather err on the side of caution here and say 9,900. But if Bitcoin does lose that, even on a 4-hour delta closure, I would look for a move all the way back down, at the very least to 9,700. That's only a $200 move, but realistically, probably back down to about 9,300 pivot right here and retest that region, and then we'll come back and reanalyze it. I wouldn't necessarily say that I get like overall bearish on that, but below 9,300, more carefully speaking now, below 9,300, I do get very cautious for extensions back down to 8,600 base. So that's now a $700 move at a $9,000 price point. I mean, oh Jesus, it's loud, man. It's fucking loud. It scared the shit out of me. But yeah, the $700 move at a $9,000 price point, that's almost 8-9% move right there. So that would be pretty nice, and also probably setting up for a big reversal as well. So probably more on the meat on top of that. But until Bitcoin really goes below 8,600, I'm not looking at the downside to have any legitimate validity. Downside meaning $1,000, $1,500 more. $1,000 to $1,500 more to the downside, somewhere down around 7,500 to 6,900 region right here on a 0.5 or 618 Fibonacci retracement. Also filling the mesh move on this as well. But what's more impressive right now? What's more important right now? The upside, of course. And because we are looking at this as a symmetrical, or at least I'm looking at this as a symmetrical triangle breaking out to the upside, there is a mesh move to be made, as I said, which is pointed up towards $11,000, which is interesting because it would imply a higher high above our last weekly high, which was put in, I believe, in February. Yeah, February right here, early February. So right now, Bitcoin has backed off of it a little bit, which you would expect on the first pass. However, I do think that if Bitcoin can even just trade above that last high, which was 10,522.51 cents, which, yeah, Bitcoin has not done right here just yet. But if you can just trade above there, just one tick above, I would look for extension for another about $1,000 to 11,500. That is the macro area that I've been speaking about, and I'm sure everyone else and their fucking mother's been speaking about. It's no secret here. We're all looking at the same shit. Right around 11,500 for the last like 2.5 years since January of 2018, getting this rejection before a 50% meltdown from 11.5 to 6,000. Then a double top rejection a month later in February, both at the same levels. And then again, about a year later in July 2019 right here. And then a month later after that in August 2019. And then if we were to reapproach that area, well,
we can see from a volume profile perspective that it is a significant change in behavior above that region. That is showing just about no business being done above that region, which realistically, you know, we can have targets into the 16,000, 20,000 region. I just get generally bullish over there. Doesn't mean that it's not going to have very nasty pullbacks. It probably will. Bitcoin loves to do its like 30 to 40% dumps in its bull markets, which is kind of crazy. But generally, I'd be looking to be a buyer on those alongside 11,500 being held up long term. But that's, again, getting way ahead of ourselves right now because still Bitcoin is dealing with this 10,500-ish region right here, which there are actually two ways to be getting this right now. So the way that I would consider this next area broken and insinuated that next extension to 11,500 is if one of two things happens. We either trade above this prior high right here, as I just kind of described, or Bitcoin closes above this area on a higher closing basis for the weekly. Only the weekly, though. No other time frame. And that would have to be met by a weekly closure above about 10,200. And then, yes, we could probably declare that broken and likely to float up to the next higher value node, which is only relative to what's above it. You know, realistically, this is not a high value node right here. It's just things change massively above there. So I'd imagine another short-term, medium-term pullback from that region. On top of that, let me just make sure that I'm recording. I am recording, and the microphone seems to be working as well, so that's good. Momentum oscillators on the weekly, all looking fine here as well. We do see weekly Stokes still headed upwards and onwards, going to get into the critical zone here soon. We do see weekly RSI was the key, especially on CMEs, as we've been documented for the last month or so. We saw a year-long falling wedge get resolved to the upside, retest last week. We said that that was going to likely be a buy, and then boom, liftoff. Now looking for continuation into the bullish control zone, probably somewhere back around this region right here, into the 70 marker before the next legitimate weekly pullback, I would say. For what it's worth right now, Bitcoin is living above the 618 Fibonacci retracement from the ultimate high to the ultimate low of that 3100s phase to the 14,000 phase from 2019. So that is significant as well. And I do believe that that's going to create a nice little vacuum up to the 11,500-ish region, which, by the way, if you're talking about gaps, that actually is one of the few gaps left on CMEs all the way over here at about 11.5 ish region. So I would look at that area as an area of potential thackeray going on. Probably does naturally get a pullback just with it being the macro long-term high region from a weekly closing basis, and gap territory on CMEs plus volume profile plus major fibs as well. I think we saw the 786 there. Yeah, 786 is right there as well. So I do like that area for a nice pullback, at the very least on short and medium term timeframes, probably on higher term timeframes as well. And then we'll come back and analyze it. But for right now, the lower term timeframes actually did have a very healthy consolidation yesterday, as we said. 4-hour Stokes were flipping back around during this time as well. I'm sure a lot of people are getting short off that. No, that's not the way that it works, typically speaking at least. And right now, what you're looking for on the 4-hour, at least what I'm looking for on the 4-hour, is for it to come back down and test around the edge of the bullish control zone and hopefully hold up around there, which is hopefully going to be somewhere above this blue box territory right here, which would still say that the rally is, well, more or less good to me. Now, that was on CMEs. If we go to spot price action, the 4-hour Stokes and all momentum oscillators look a lot more nice here, rejecting the bearish control zone yesterday and popping back up, as we said was likely. This will remain to the upside as long as price action remains above, 9850-ish region. So I do like that area as a pivot. Of course, that's even above the 9900-ish blue box territory. So as long as Bitcoin's above there, I look at this as likely to get more continuation, probably up to the $11,000 target, and that would be above the last $10,500 high, which probably does insinuate another higher target to 11.5 over time, perhaps. Looking at 4-hour historical volatility percentile, we did finally see the contraction phase. Boom, baby! Massive, girthy red dildos in my face, in and around my mouth. And so this is likely to cool off a little bit here. We are expanding right now, though. Overall, it's an expansion phase, but the big break for that time frame has already been had. Again, adding efficacy to what we're looking at. 4-hour RSI, no divergences to be found just yet. I'm sure that someone's saying, but Krown, 29th of April to where we are right now. Yeah, that was 2 fucking months ago on a 4-hour. On a 12, you're probably using a 14 period as your default. Means that that's just not that relatable to what we're looking at right now. If we find the same sort of divergence maybe on like a 12-hour from that time frame, that's when it could be an issue. And we very well could very well could, especially on a daily, create some divergence there. But for right now, I think that Bitcoin tries higher before anything else. You need to confirm a local high. For all the people in the program who are asking about this, for fuck's sake, consult with the divergence bonus video, as that's going to directly address these sorts of nuanced situations, because a lot of the time people will want to declare bearish divergence or bullish divergence on every drive of continuation without realizing that you can only measure 2 points together if they are of the same like kind, meaning that they both have to be local highs or local lows. And in this case right now, we do not have a local high here. We have a local high right here. That's confirmed. Do we have a local high right here? Fuck no, because that's not a topping dildo as it stands right now. It doesn't mean that it can't, but back below 9900, yeah, then we can probably talk about a little bit of toppy action right there. But for right now, looking fine. And by the way, daily Stokes will remain to the upside posturing as long as Bitcoin price action remains above 97.50. So even more of a buffer zone there as well from the daily perspective. Although I'd say going back down to 97.50, not going to look all that hot. Anyways, going back down to the lower term timeframes, let's go check out the 3 hour. 3 hour looks like it's trying to set in a higher low right here as well. 3 hour Stokes, plenty of room to the upside, and will remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin price action holds 10,000. So that's your proverbial high or low right there, right above the blue box of peace and prosperity. Or maybe I show the actual chart with it. There we go. 2 hour is obviously headed down right now, but will pop back. Will pop back up to the upside if Bitcoin price action goes back up above 10,275 on a 2 hour closing basis, and hourly is going to show 10,150 as moving the momentum up to the to the upside in the short term. If it meets that area. So what we can say now is that if Bitcoin does close this next 2 hour dildo basically above 10,300, I would look for this to give another try towards 10.5. The problem is with 10.5 is that I need to see one of those conditions met that I outlaid earlier, either a move above there or well, maybe we could do this on a daily as well. Let's go check it out. On a daily close above 10,400 probably does it as well, but that's so close to that 10.5 area anyways. I'm not sure how helpful that is. Right now, what I'm keeping my eye on is daily RSI and daily Stokes. Both of those look very, very healthy to me. This even looks like an inverted head and shoulders here. Probably getting ready for a move into the bullish control zone for a good amount of time. With historical volatility percentile contracting the whole way through, so we're really setting up for a big move here overall. I like what I'm seeing. Looking at the two-day Stokes are going to be crossing back up to the upside, as we said, rejecting getting out of the bullish control zone. Again, I really like those reads there. Let me just make sure that this is looking good over there. Okay, cool. All right, we're safe in Safu right now. And it will cross the upside later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time if Bitcoin just closes above 9,600. So again, well below that 9,900-ish pivot. So I really like that area to kind of be judging these more impressive moves off of. Also, 2-day RSI, very constructive here as well. I really like what I'm seeing. And 3-day, a little bit more so, I guess, but overall, 3-day Stokes popping back up as well, and they will remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin is above that $10,000 pivot as well. So all these timeframes kind of working together. Even the 3-day Jewel giving you maybe a continuation hold of your long signal, although that's a scary one right there. Really don't like it in that territory. Not for me, man. Not for me. Anyways, let me take this off right here, and let's go check out what else should we check out? It's already 18 minutes into this video. What else do I want to look at? Let's go check out CMEs once again. I'm just trying to see if there's anything different about this chart. Yeah, 10,500, same area. All major moving averages are bullish here. Just following up from the weekly analysis. Obviously, we've been looking at the weekly 21 as like a big designator of kind of where we are in the macro cycle. And the weekly 21 has accurately gotten this, basically since the inception of Bitcoin. Anytime that Bitcoin's above it, generally bullish. Anytime that it has a positive slope and Bitcoin's above it, very bullish. Keeps you long for the macro here, even during these 70% downs, which I don't know if you necessarily want to be, but it does say that that is a buy opportunity. Same thing to the downside over here, calling the bull traps very well in both 2014 and 2018 and 2019. And then more recently getting a positive slope after being tested a few times after breaking it in early May. So I do like that overall. More importantly, we do see that the 55 is now starting to diverge away from the 21, as that suggests that lower period is strengthening, which means that the bots and algos are on the buy side. Obviously, it's just a higher term time frame look on it. And then also what we saw happen this week was the 10 simple crawled above basically both of those at the same time, which does suggest that
that we are going to be seeing, well, all lower periods above higher periods, which is just generally good overall. As the trend strengthens, I think we were also looking at the 3-day as well. 3-day doing the same thing with the 10 simple and the 21, looking very good here. Anytime that we've had that cross, you know, or actually no, it's that same cross on the weekly that actually does offer up some pretty damn good edge. Last one that we got was about a 2x from 7,000 to 14,000. Time before that was all the way over here at 300 to 20,000 as well. What about the monthly? Yes, the monthly was the other one that we had a lot of significance on. So I was harping on this quite a bit last month. Monthly Stokes rejecting the bearish control zone and up, and they will stay to the upside as long as Bitcoin price action is above 9,000 essentially. And monthly RSI regaining the exponential as well. And monthly Jewel also giving you the hodl your long signal, playing out, I believe, as well too. And then most importantly, the one that I very rarely talk about but is relevant right now, the accumulation distribution indicator was the big key yesterday on the 1st of June, confirming for the first time in about half a year that we once again have a positive slope, also fulfilling a test of this this long-term trend line right here. And anytime that we've switched around the slope, that has been your macro shift ups, to be fair. This one calling the bull trap in 2014 extremely well. This one calling the low in 2015 to the fucking T. Well, maybe not to the T, but at a very nice long-term point. This one over here calling the bull trap 2018 incredibly well, calling also the 3100 low in 2019 incredibly well as well, then calls the switch up bull trap in early 2020 extremely well as well, and then once again flipping back around in this month of June. So I do look at that as overall good. I don't care about the color of these. I'm no racist with that, with these Christmas colors, but I do care about slopes. So I'm a slope racist, I guess. I don't know. That's going to be cut up in terrible ways. I'm a fucking racist against slopes and also stupid TA. Does that even count? Who? But do TA lives matter? But do moon lives matter? Oh, fuck me, man. Okay, cool. So yeah, all that looks good. We also did close above the last prior high in February of 2020. So I look at that as good as well. And these were all the reasons why I was bullish within that region and continue to be, I guess, with particular interest now on the 11,500-ish region, with a lot of floaty action probably in between. Bitcoin's once again in kind of is once again in the 5 digits, which likely means a lot of volatility, man. A lot of volatility. But I don't see any bearish divergence even on a 4-hour just yet, so I wouldn't be looking for any like real pullbacks just yet. I do think that Bitcoin's going to try to consolidate here and work its way higher, again, using 9,900 as a nice pivot for the downside. Best seen on this chart right here. Nice and clean charts, my friends. Nice and clean charts. Other than that, let's go check out, yes, NASDAQ. NASDAQ also looking fucking phenomenal, huh? Oh, what's that cryptocurrency, moon boys? You don't think that the U.S. markets in cryptocurrency can rally together? What's the fucking narrative now? I'll wait. No, I'm actually curious. What's the narrative now? The crypto anarchists got everything that they wanted. Oh my, and everything that they wanted and more. A global pandemic, coronavirus. U.S. starts printing off money, and basically all nations start printing off money like crazy. Bitcoin goes up. Bitcoin goes down, just with the traditional markets like this, more so actually. And then when it pops back up, Bitcoin nowhere near its prior all-time high at 20,000, whereas NASDAQ actually right around its prior high, as we said, 9,600, calling the lows about a month and a half ago, maybe even 2 months, somewhere right around here, I believe it was. In early April. And realistically, what's the fucking narrative? I'm unclear of what. Sir, I would like to know what the current cryptocurrency anarchist narrative is. Shit, man. Like right now is even better too, because we have fucking riots and shit going on. You know, there's actual disorder going on right now. So, are we ready to change our minds? No. Fuck no. Bitcoin to the moon. America to the ground. It's like, okay. All right, so are we all on the same team here now yet? Are we all on the same team? You guys want to join the same team? We can all be on team fucking human. Rising tide lifts all ships. Don't fucking forget that shit, especially if you're going to be the one rich person when all this writing gets seriously crazy. And we'll see how much you like it then. Okay. So yeah, traditional markets, I still think overall very bullish. I would expect new all-time highs probably this month or maybe even next month. Now, that's not to say I don't think that there's going to be a pullback sometime in this month or next month as well, but I do believe that's going to be a big opportunity. For right now, still bullish. It's climbing the wall of worry. It looks very, 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 very good here. I see absolutely zero reason to be bearish on this as long as it's above the last local low here at 9150, for fuck's sake. And even then, I would, if that were to be violated, I'd look for a move back down to like 8,500-ish region, and that'd probably be another major opportunity for the long term. But for right now, short term, it's bullish. I would expect another retest officially of 9750-ish region, and probably it gets broken over time. But on the first push, on the first test gets a pullback. E-mini futures, same sort of thing, except the relevant area would be about 313 to 315. I still think that area gets tested here. It looks very, very good. You know, I don't think that I don't think that it's out of the cards that it gets another test back down to like 285. Moi. Else is leaving for right now. I don't think that's out of the cards to get another test back down to 285 region, but not before short-term upside and medium-term upside first. And depending upon how strong NASDAQ is, that might get extended, you know, maybe even to the prior high at like 330 and beyond. Realistically, I've been bullish here. I've remained to be bullish here. And for all the people who were saying that this is like going to come back down and make new lows, keep in mind who those people are, because this point right here was the very obvious point where that was no longer happening. I can understand that sort of mentality right here, but not right here. Not right here, and especially not right here once it got back above 270. Those were keys. Those were key levels being regained, and really, really solidified this as like the low. Something new would have to come about in order for this to be drastically changed. Again, the stock market is a forwards pricing mechanism to its best ability, usually thinking about 30 years out. Was it ever going to be a fact that the coronavirus pandemic, again, I use that word maybe loosely in some cases, although I do understand that it is very real. It's just the effects of it maybe a little bit disproportionate. Well, history will tell, I suppose. But more importantly, was it ever a question that it was not going to go away, either by its own or by human intervention? I would think that anyone with a forward thinking mind hopefully you would think that. Otherwise, like, what's the fucking point of living if we're just doomed? So fair enough, fair enough. Anyways, looking good there. Gold also looking okay, but if it does violate 1700 to the downside, I would look for a return back down to like 1650, maybe 1640-ish region. It's a little bit more frothy than the other markets, but monthly still looks good. So long term, I still have to be bullish on it, looking for 1800 plus. Probably back up to like 1830, 1850-ish region overall. But just short term, does it come back down and fill around like 1650, 1650, somewhere around there? Maybe, yes. I don't have a strong opinion on that. Euro dollar looks good for reversal here. Actually, for the long term, I'd be looking back around like 115-ish region. Let's go look at Dixie as well. What's Dixie looking like? Where are you, Dixie? Where are you, Dixie? Fuck. There you are. Yeah, Dixie's looking good for a short-term reversal as well. Probably does bounce relatively soon, but overall, I do think that it comes back down to like 95 and a quarter, 95 and a half. We hit our target to the upside at 103, I believe it was, back around the prior high right here. Now it comes back into normality. So I don't really have a long-term look on this, but I do think that short-term and medium-term, it's down. Other than that, let's go check out Mr. Buterol leading the rally. Oh, and hitting that 250 target with fucking ease, actually. Damn, nice one. Very constructive here as well, printing another higher high above this breakdown that we saw in early March. I'd say that that's a good turning point, and I'd extend the targets all the way up to our prior highs from middle of February at around 280 to 290-ish region. Probably looking pretty damn good there, because considering that the weekly is looking strong here, going to be getting a lot of major moving average crosses to the upside. So this is probably setting up for a long-term move. I would be cautious of a backfill down to 205 region. I think that that's very possible, but I'd look at that as an opportunity. And realistically, I do think that this thing works its way to 300 and probably beyond. Again, going to be mediated by Bitcoin as well, but we see this market move together, but overall looking good there. Litecoin, same thing as well. Not as strong as the other ones, but if Bitcoin gets going here, probably tags around $57. Let's go check out Bitcoin dominance though. I'm curious, as that's been steady from what I've seen. Are we setting in a higher low here on that Doge-ish dragonfly dildo? You could say that right now.
Momentum oscillators are bullish here. I'd have to remain bullish on this, man. Let's go check out the monthly. So are altcoins likely to keep pace with Bitcoin if Bitcoin moves back above, let's say 11.5? Fuck no. Are they even likely to keep pace with Bitcoin if Bitcoin moves back above like 10.5? They're likely to get cream pied. I think it's about to be a boo cake sandwich. Let's go check out Cardano and see what he's doing. Cardano looks pretty good on a monthly. Maybe another drive of extension to like 4 digits, but I'd be looking for a pullback there. Let's go check out Mr. Buterol versus Bitcoin. Yeah, extension to 283, but probably pullback there. Let's go check out Link as well. I'm curious what Link's doing because I don't know if the Link Marines are bots or not, but they seem to be like always really gung-ho about Link. Hey man, we're on the same team, brother. Okay, Link on the monthly actually looks very good. Link on the weekly looks very good as well. Yeah, I'd be looking for it to pop back up to 50,000 Satoshis and probably beyond. Very, very it's the best chart in cryptocurrency still. Just makes new all-time highs and new all-time highs. It's hard to hate that. Weekly very good as well. We did hit our 450 target, I believe. Yes, indeed, we did. Looking like it's backing off for now. I don't know if I'd remain bullish on this short term just yet. Well, it is looking set up for a breakout, to be fair. Any sort of a move above this prior high right here at 502, and I'd be looking for extension quite a bit higher. There is a measure move we've made on this one. It's not too exact or too precise, but it would imply a target. I don't want to say because it's too high, and I don't feel comfortable with talking about that. I want to step away from that sort of shit. Anyways, going back to Bitcoin, let's go check out what the probabilities are suggesting today, and let's put on the relevant areas once again. So for the downside, I remain short-term, medium-term, and long-term bullish as long as Bitcoin is above 9,900. I put particular interest on the $10,500 pivot because if Bitcoin can regain that area, I would look for another extension of $1,000 in line with also the measure move on the symmetrical triangle that we put in right here, which does suggest 11,000. So that does look like it's relatively likely to happen if you are going off of it from that narrative. But I do want to see the probabilities of that are. So if Bitcoin does break 9,900 to the downside, I would look for extension probably down to 93. That's where things get very interesting for the downside once again, because below 93, I would look for extension basically to below 9,000. And well, we could talk about that, again, if and when we do get there. But for right now, I think the upside is probably more likely and probably more relevant, and I'm running out of vocal power. So we will look at it from this perspective right here. All right, I'll put this on current. Target upper range, we'll do 9,800 now. Well, we could do 9,850. I know I've been saying 9,900, but I would like to err on the side of caution here because this does look like an efficacious breakout. And I'll do 10,500 for the upside. Okay. All right, probability. Wow. Whoa. This is interesting. Okay. The probability of closing this next daily dildo above 10,500 is actually greater than the probability of closing this next daily dildo below 9,850. Put that into your pipe and smoke it. Again, a higher term time frame area only related to a short term time frame area, maybe medium if you really want to juice it out a little bit more. It is about a $500, $600 trade from that point to the downside, to be fair. But that's very sombering right there. That's very, very sombering. So looking at that, and looking also at the rings squeezing to the upside, it looks like the upside's more likely on a 12-hour closure, showing 19.29% versus 13.75%. Again, in favor of the upside here. For a 4 hour, do we have? 4 hours relatively low, especially to the upside. The downside showing 420, great number. The upside showing about 0.5%. So I would say that. Still, short term, probably not breaking any either which way. 12-hour on daily do have a legitimate chance to break actually here to the upside and the downside as well. I mean, that's certainly not low. Anything above 16% is good enough to like say this is something to really plan. I mean, any percentage is something to plan for. It can and will happen, but it's within like the realm of a possibility that you really should account for. The daily especially showing 23%. So yeah, upside more likely after this. Expansion favoring the bulls, and I agree with that totally. Again, as long as 9,900 is held, looks good to me. If 9,900 does get broken, I would look for a return back down here. 9,300, probably a small bouncy bounce there. Then we'll come back and reassess if that gets sold into or not. But for right now, looks like the culmination of a long-term consolidation resolving to the upside, looking good.
And looks to me like you probably do test 10.5 again, and that's where things get interesting once again. So I'd like to take a second to wish you the best once again. I feel like with all the things going on in the world right now, it is. I probably shouldn't say shit about it, man. I don't know what's going on in the world. Fucking goddamn it, man. I'm watching the same medias as you, and who knows what the fuck they're saying, but. I just want to believe in the best in people, man, because there's been a lot of great videos going around and showing like the solidarity between people, and that's what it should be. I don't understand this bifurcation of black and white. Why is this a black and white issue? I don't fucking like police brutality either. Hey, how about that? Explain that one. It's like, no, you need to fit into one of two categories. It's like, go fuck yourself, man. Go fuck. We're all on the same team, man. Just like we're all on the same team on the markets, we're all on the same team when it comes down to social issues like that. Everyone should be against police brutality. People should also mostly be against fucking looting and beating the shit out of people for very little reason. That doesn't make sense to me at all. I can 100% support protests, especially peaceful protests against police brutality. Duh. I don't know anyone who's not just a complete fucking asshole out there like parading around saying that we need police brutality and I love racism as well. It's like, what the fuck? You're just weird, man. You're just fucking weird. Like people like that get looked at like they have some sort of mental disorder because maybe they do. Maybe they need some help. Who knows? Probably should be understanding by someone like that. It's the vast minority though that are like that. The vast majority want peace, man. They want what's best for everyone, and that's really the right way to be going. I've seen so many videos of officers joining in on the walking of the protest. That's awesome. That's fucking amazing. I want to see that shit in the news. You fuckers. CNN, go fuck yourself. They should feel absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely. I mean, well, not just CNN, but like all major news outlets that have made this into something that is just so depressing and so terrible. And it actually really does bother me. And I actually really, I don't want to admit this, but I actually have teared up over the past few days watching some of it, man. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Like, separation is not the way. It's just not the fucking way, man. And until we get rid of these blinders that we have in our own eyes, it's just. Anyways, I'd rather focus on the positive as much as I can, and we do have that within our own power here. And of course, man, if you're watching till this length of the video, well, hopefully this message finds you well, man. Rising tide lifts all ships. We're all on the same fucking ship, man. At the end of the day, I want to wish everyone well, no matter what fucking color you are, whether you're police or not. I hope that you're having a great day, man. I hope that you're having just a great life in general. Don't fucking loot shit. Don't fucking beat people up. Jesus Christ, man. It's like that helps so much. Anyways, man, hopefully I can leave you with a little bit of a positive message. I'd like to wish you well once again. Take care. And until next time, sincerely.